This
And
conference will
guys,
now be recorded.
Rahul sir will be taking your mock interview so that all the things are well versed. And if you have any means, if any queries or any rectification or shortcoming is there, he'll be sharing us the feedback that we'll be sharing with you. So, sir, as of now, I have shared you the list of the candidates, and Anand, I am sharing to you as well. So,
Okay.
as per the list, hold for a moment. So, Rahul sir, how would you like to take like 4 or 5 candidates in at a time, or single candidates at a
It's up to you. You can start with single candidates, also not an issue. I think 13 candidates list has been shared. So we can start with
time?
single candidate, also not an issue.
Okay. So, I'm just naming the candidate. It's Sunil, Gautam, Hema, Baswa, Bhaskar, Varsha, Harshita, Chaitra, Satish, Nitish, Upendra, Pratap, Leslie, Komal, Sunil Kumar R. So the time now is 9:05. So one candidate, sir, how much time would be required for a single candidate?
Around 10 minutes.
10 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
Sunil will be, write down your time as well. Sunil will, the session for Sunil will be started at 9 or 10. For Hema Baswa, you need to join the same link at 9:20. Bhaskar Reddy 9:30. Varsha 9:40. Harshita 9:50. Chaitra 10 o'clock. Satish 10:10. Nitish 10:20. Naga Upendra 10:30. Pratap 10:40. Blessy 10:50. Komal at 11 o'clock, and Sunil, your session will be at 11:10. Is it fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So as of now, we will start with Sunil, and all of you can drop the call, and you will be joining at the respective time. The time I'll be sharing in the WhatsApp group as well. Okay. So best of luck, guys. So apart from Sunil, I would request candidate to drop the call. Sir, now you can start. Only Sunil is there.
Okay, let's start from the company, right? Anand and Nitish.
Right.
Nitish.
And Anand is from my team, and
Nitish
Nitish has
Kumar.
dropped the call. Huh.
It's showing over here, actually. Okay, now it's stopped. Okay.
And Sunil, enable your webcam.
And
Yes,
within
sir.
3 minutes, we'll start.
Yes, sir. We'll start at 10.
9:10.
Yeah. Nitish,
Yes,
Nitish,
sir.
kindly drop the call. Join at your respective time. Sir, you may start.
Okay. Okay. So let's start with this part. So Sunil, just I want to know first of all that
Yes,
what's
sir.
the booting process of Linux?
Booting process of Linux.
Yeah.
Sir, the booting process starts with a Linux loader where Lilo comes into part. It loads the Linux into the bootloader, which further processes, and the booting starts there, sir.
So is it Lilo nowadays works or Grub?
Sir, Grub, actually it's Grub, and actually Lilo is same as the bootloader. Grub is where the boot starts with all the uh,
Okay, could you brief me about the LDAP?
sir,
Could you brief me about LDAP? LDAP.
LDAP.
Yeah.
LDAP. Uh, Sir, I'm not aware of LDAP, sir. Uh,
Okay. Okay, could you let me know about something about the chase command?
Sir,
Chase, CHAG, chase command, which is used into the user's management.
chase command.
Yeah.
Uh, Chase command. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of that actually. Chase command.
CHAG, change age, that's a full form.
CHANG.
Yes, change, not change. CHAG, change. That is basically known as change age of the user.
So is
Okay,
it
not an issue.
related to any permissions?
It is related to basically it is related to not permission. It is related to users.
Users. CH
Okay,
mod, sir.
not an issue.
I'm, no, sir.
Could you tell me about Zen? What is Zen?
Zen.
Yeah, XEN Zen.
XEN. Sir,
Zen server
no,
is
sir.
used for the virtualization of systems. So if you could give me more information.
Zen. No, sir. I'm not aware of that also.
Okay. Could you let me know about how we can change the default permission of user?
Default permission of user. Sir, normally the default permission would be just for read and read. So we can change the permission by giving the read, write, and execute by using the command chmod
Okay,
777 for
what's the default
executing and
permission you have told me? Could you please repeat it? What's the default permission on a file?
for a default permission on a file, it would be a read and a write, sir. Read and write, but we can't execute.
Okay. Why we can't execute a file?
Uh, Sir, it is excluded for the new user, sir. For giving permission for a user to execute that, we are supposed to change the permission from giving the command chmod to 777, where he can execute the file, sir.
Okay. Could you tell me that when we are creating a partition nowadays in our Linux, that what type of format
Yes,
we
sir.
are using over there? Formatting aspect, like
What
what
type of
type of file system we are using over there?
uh, sir, during partitions for formatting? Okay. uh, uh, for partitions, we go with so basically there will be no partition. We get one partition, then we create the partition. For formatting the partition, for formatting the partition, we use
Okay,
the
means
sir, fdisk, where it can be.
what is swap?
Sir, swap is basically a RAM memory status where it is useful for the process where if the RAM, suppose we have a RAM of 1 GB. So if the RAM is full, it's basically hard disk which helps the RAM to provide more space in case the RAM is full.
So it is going to act as a RAM.
Yes, sir. It is basically a RAM double the size of uh, the actual RAM. It provides extra space when the RAM is completely full by taking out the processes which are not running actually and are not running actually in the RAM and makes extra space available, sir.
Okay, what is the usage of /bin directory?
Slash bin directory. Sir, as long as I know, it's in Windows we have the recycle bin.
I'm talking about Linux. We are talking over here about Linux, not Windows.
Slash bin directory.
/bin directory.
Oh, slash bin directory. I've gone through that, but one second, sir.
If I'm
Slash bin
installing a
directory.
custom software, if I'm installing a
Yes, sir.
custom software, let's take an
Yes, sir.
example VLC Media Player or any Microsoft Office or something, then on
Yes,
in
sir.
which directory it goes. Whether I'll just give you
In
four
which?
four options over here.
Yes, sir.
It will be /tmp, /bin,
Yes. Yes, sir.
/opt or /usr.
Okay, if we are installing a new application,
Software.
where it goes, software,
Yeah.
where it goes. Uh, Sir, it goes to slash bin directories, I guess. So, sir. I'm not sure of that, but
Okay, last question. Could you tell me the
yes,
full
sir.
form of Grub?
Grub. It's general uh, grub. Grub. Oh, grub or grep, sir? Grub. Okay, it's a boot processing. Grub. I'm not sure. I gone through grep.
Okay, could you tell me about grep also? GREP.
So grep is where you use that to find a particular expression, sir. It's suppose there is a group. There are uh, a number of groups in a particular group, and you have to find a particular name in that group. So we use grep command to easily find that, sir, in that group.
Okay, then thank you. That was the question which I have to ask you. You can of course
Yeah,
leave.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay, Sakit.
Yeah,
So I
sir.
hope you're ready.
Ready, sir.
Could you tell me something about the awk command? AWK.
WK.
Awk.
Sorry, sir. I don't know.
Okay, could you tell me about what's the booting process?
Yeah, sir.
How many?
If you press init 6 means it will boot, sir. It will go to the grub and it will boot the sir. Boot it, sir.
Okay,
If anything is corrupt,
which version of Linux operating system you have studied?
yes, sir.
On which version you have taken the training?
CentOS 7, sir.
CentOS 7. Then CentOS 7 is not having any init run levels nowadays used. Okay, so could you tell me how the we can set up how we can change the user on any particular file of any particular file? How do we can change the owner of any particular file?
chmod that honor, sir.
Chmod command has to be used to change the owner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what command we should use to change the permission of the file?
Change permission. Yeah, chmod permissions that are read write execute permission and that username.
Okay, let's take an example that I have to give a special permission to a user. My file is having a permission of 640, means 6 for user, means owner, and 4 for group, means read for group, and nothing for others. But there is one user named as A1. I want to give a special permission to A1 user so that that user can read my file. So how do I provide that permission?
Ch mode 761 and that username, sir. Only read permission will get.
I, I don't need to give it to all users. I have to give to the specific user that permission.
Yeah, sir. We will mention the username.
Okay. Could you tell me something about the grub? What is grub?
While we will booting, we will get the grub, sir.
What it
If
is?
we, it is a Linux loader, sir. It will
Okay,
bring
it's a
the
Linux
Linux
loader.
to the, yes, sir. It will bring the Linux to the load and it will give, sir.
Could you give me the full form of grub?
No, sorry, sir. I don't.
Okay. Next question is that give me some information about Zen server, which is used for the virtualization technology. So could you give me some information on how it works?
I think it will transfer the files, sir. Exactly, I don't know. It will use it to transfer the files.
Okay. What is port forwarding?
Port for allowing the port. If we want to allow
What is
any port, we
that is
have
a
to give in
firewalling we are
input.
talking about. You're talking about firewalling. I was talking about port forwarding.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, not an issue. Could you tell me something about IP tables?
Mm,
Could you give me some information about Samba server?
So, yes, sir. Samba server is
SN.
used to transfer the files from Linux to multiple Linux to Linux or Linux to Windows.
Okay. Any
We
other
can
work which we
transfer.
can do with the Samba server?
I know only it will transfer the files, sir.
Okay. Which protocol works in background when we are transferring file from Linux to Windows or Windows to Linux? Says server is Samba, but which protocol we are using over there?
DCP.
Okay. So could you tell me something about the DNS,
Net,
domain name server DNS?
yeah. Yes, it will give the IP address network
It will
protocols, or
address.
it
Okay.
is
What is init run levels?
in it. There are
Run level.
six levels, six levels, sir.
What are these?
Init 1, init 2, init 3, init 4, init 5, init 6, and init 7.
Init 3 is used for what?
Or multi-users,
Multi-user. Init 4?
multi-user and GUI, graphical user interface.
Okay, thank you, Saket. You can disconnect
Okay, sir.
yourself.
Thank you, sir.
We विनीत सर ये लोग तो आंसर दे ही नहीं पा रहे हैं छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चंस का. Yeah, Bhaskar, I hope you're ready.
Yeah, I am ready.
Okay. So the first question is that
Yeah.
what is NTP server and how it works?
Yeah. Okay. NTP server is a network transfer network transfer protocol, sir. Okay. Okay. Sorry. NTP network file transfer protocol, sir. It will be works to share the data or a file or a directory from one server to another server, and it will be works on the between the Linux machine only. The NTP server port number is in a 21 mm, no, 21 sir, 2948 2049 sir, port number.
Okay, then what is NFS server?
Sir, it is an NFS server, sir. I told you NFS server, sir. Network file transfer protocols. You told me
Then
an
NTP.
FTP, sir. Sir, no idea about the NTP, sir.
Could you tell me something about the Zen server?
Sir,
Zen, XEN Zen, which is basically used for the virtualization. So, what is the usage and how this will be implemented into our system?
sir, no idea about the Zen, sir. We are trained in Linux and AWS, sir. Little bit AWS.
Okay, next point which I have to ask you is, could you tell me something about the sed command, SED?
Sed command. Sir,
Yeah,
sed
SED.
command you will be filter the some words, sir. Sed command.
Okay, could you please explain more about this?
Sed command, sir.
Yeah.
Sed. Sed command. Sir, sed command. The sed command is in forms of the it will be added in a function of the like searching of the finding and replacing the word, sir, or deleting of the word. Hello,
Okay. What was the full form of sed command? Sed.
sir. Can you repeat once?
What's the full form of sed?
Full form of sed, sir. Mm, Sed command.
Okay, could you tell me something about the DNS server? What is DNS?
Sir, sed command is in a Steam. I think Steam editor, sir.
What is
Sir,
DNS?
DN is nothing but an it will be transfer the data from one server to another server via with an IP address or host name.
Okay.
The DNS port number is
Could you tell me
53.
anything about the records of DNS?
Sir,
Records.
records of DNS. Hello,
Yeah, records of DNS.
records of DNS. Yeah, in DNS, they are separated within a host name and IP address, and they can be connected within one server to another server, sir.
Next question is how we can compress our data in Linux. What commands we can use to compress our data in Linux?
By using an tar command, sir.
Tar command we use to compress.
Yeah,
Okay. What's the full form of tar?
tar-cvf
What's the full form of
to
tar?
sir.
Just 1 second only. Yeah?
Okay.
Bhaskar, please switch on your camera, webcam also.
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on. Sir.
But it's not showing.
Yeah, no screen and cameras has been shared.
Bhaskar, enable your webcam. What is the issue?
Sir, it's I think it's not able to work. 1 minute, sir. I will check.
Already, I have told you that you should be handy with all your IT hardwares, right? Yes, now it's visible.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Yeah. So I have asked you about tar command. You told me that tar is used for the this for compression of the data, right? Okay. Next
Yeah, sir.
command is when you have to change a group of a user. Which
Yeah,
command we are going to use to change the group of a user?
we have to delete or to change the group, sir.
Sorry.
We have to delete the user in the group or what?
Could you please sit at
Hello.
one place first of all?
Yeah, I'm getting some network issues, sir. That's why I'm. Yeah, okay. Tell
Wherever you
me.
will get the network, just sit over there.
Yeah, okay. Tell me, sir. Now it's right.
Yeah. So I was asking you if you have to add any user into a group, that what type of command or what syntax are there in that particular aspect.
Yeah, if you are adding a multiple users in a group by using a g password space hyphen m g password hyphen m username comma username space group, it is then adding a multiple users. And one more thing, g password space hyphen small m small a, yeah, hyphen small a space username space group name, it will be add then only a single user.
Okay, when you create a user, then
Yeah,
which file contains the password of the user?
yeah, yeah, sir.
Which file contains the password of the user?
Slash etc slash shadow.
And which file contains the details about the user?
The details of the user. Details. Okay, details of the user slash etc slash shadow and chat is slash etc slash password, sir. It
Okay.
containing a username and plus user ID.
Okay, what's the UID, user ID of the root user?
0.
And from where users starts from users UID?
Yeah, the user ID start from the 0 from the group. First of all, there are the three types of users: owner and system user and normal user. Normal user is nothing but in public, and the root user starts from the 0 and end with also then a 0, and the system user will be starts with an 1 and end with an 999. After the normal user will be starts at an 1000 and it will be end at the end of the 60,000. It will be comes under the 60,000.
Okay. Okay. So one question now related to security. What is this TCP wrappers?
TCP.
TCP wrapper.
Sir, no idea about the TCP wrapper. I know I have the idea about the TCP. TCP is a transfer control protocol, sir. TCP port number is in a
Okay, it's okay.
22.
Could you give me the answer of what is IP table and how the IP tables are used?
Yeah, there are the IP tables can be divided into five types: class 1, class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. The first
I'm not
class A
talking
comes
about
under
IP
the,
master. I'm talking about
yeah,
IP tables.
IP table, sir. Sir, IP tables is nothing. I have some doubts, sir. IP tables is nothing but an CIDR or classless interdomain network. Are you talking about that? Classless interdomain routing.
Okay, could you tell me something about the booting process of Linux? How the Linux boots? What's the boot
Yeah,
process?
when yeah, okay, when switch on the button, the first will be execute the BIOS. The BIOS means basic input and output system. The BIOS basic input and output system will be execute the MBR. MBR is nothing but a master boot record. On master boot records will be execute the Grub2. Grub2 is nothing but a grand unified group bootloader, and the Grub2 will be execute the kernel, and the kernel execute the system D, and system D execute the run levels, and run level execute the program.
Okay. Okay, then, Bhaskar, that's all. You can take the slide.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Varsha, please switch on your webcam also. So, Varsha, how we can set group policies on users or group? So, policies, sorry, not group policy. How we can add policies on users and groups?
In chmod commands, we can create a read, write, and use the group policies as well.
So, with chmod command, we have to set the group policies. Are you saying?
The chmod command permissions के लिए ही होता है, जैसे कि read, write and execute के लिए होते हैं सर chmod command.
तो अब मैं पूछ रहा हूँ पॉलिसीज कैसे ऐड करते हैं हम किसी यूजर के बेसिस पे मान लीजिए मेरे पास एक फाइल है उस पे मेरे पास 75640 की परमिशन लगी हुई है और अल्टीमेटली मुझे एक यूजर है मतलब अदर्स के लिए नो परमिशन है तो एक यूजर है A1 मुझे उसको परमिशन देनी है रीड की तो मैं कैसे डिफाइन करूंगा परमिशन सिर्फ उस यूजर को देनी है बाकी कोई भी यूजर एक्सेस ना कर पाए
सर उसमें होता है 777766 ऐसे करके होते हैं सर, हम उसको डिफाइन कर देते हैं.
अच्छा आप मुझे वर्चुअलाइजेशन के बारे में कुछ बता सकते हो कि वर्चुअलाइजेशन क्या है
यस सर, वर्चुअलाइजेशन मतलब हम स्प्लिट कर देते हैं रिसोर्स को, हम ऐड भी कर सकते हैं वर्चुअलाइजेशन में हम, और रिमूव भी कर सकते हैं. जैसे कि अगर हमारे पास कोई डेटा है, हमारे पास कोई डेटा है 60 GB का, और हमें वो ऐड मतलब हमें ऑन द क्लाउड हमें मूव करना है उसको, और हमारे पास जो क्लाउड में जो अगर हमने कोई वर्चुअल मशीन ली है या कुछ भी लिया है तो हमारे पास उसमें जो हमारे पास जो स्टोरेज है वो 60 GB की है। तो हम सर उसमें ऐड भी कर सकते हैं, ऐड करके हम अपना डेटा ऐड भी कर सकते हैं और हम उसमें रिमूव भी कर सकते हैं,
ओके,
स्प्लिट भी कर सकते हैं।
अगर मैं लिनक्स के सिक्योरिटी लेवल की बात करूं, तो लिनक्स में सिक्योरिटी में हम आईपी टेबल्स का यूज करते हैं। तो आईपी टेबल्स क्या है?
Sir, Linux, I am working on it. Sir, I have no idea about this. I am just working on it. Linux पे हम वर्क कर रही हूँ मैं अपने लिए।
ओके, सो बहुत बेसिक सा क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं। हमारे पास कितने टाइप्स के एडिटर है लिनक्स में? हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ एडिटर्स वी आर हैविंग इन लिनक्स? कुड यू नेम थ्री एनी थ्री एडिटर्स?
VI एडिटर, VI,
वीआई का फुल फॉर्म क्या अच्छा है, बता दीजिए मुझे।
VI, no sir, no idea sir.
Could you tell me something about the NFS server?
N
NFS.
MFS, multi-factor
NF,
authentication.
NFS. N for nest. NFS.
No sir, no idea.
Okay. Could you tell me something about grep command? GREP.
यस सर, ग्रेप कमांड ग्लोबली रिसोर्स, मतलब सर ये कमांड जो ग्रेप कमांड होती है वो बेसिकली प्रिंट के लिए भी यूज होती है हमारे लिए। और जो इसका जो फुल फॉर्म होता है वो होता है ग्लोबली रिसोर्स, GRE, एक्सप्रेशन प्रिंट।
ओके, क्या इसका प्रिंट के लिए आपने बोला, इसके अलावा और क्या काम होता है ग्रेप का? क्या प्रिंट कर सकते हैं? फाइल प्रिंट कर सकते हैं हम प्रिंटर पे अपनी ग्रेप से?
सर अभी मतलब जितना मैंने पढ़ा है अभी के लिए तो मुझे भी इतना ही पता है।
और क्या क्या पढ़ा है मुझे ये बताइए, अच्छा कि क्या क्या चीज़ पढ़ी है जो आपको आती है?
सर मुझे AWS आता है। और
लिनक्स में क्या
सर
आता
मैं
है? लिनक्स का?
लिनक्स में सर मैं बेसिक बेसिक कमांड्स जो होती हैं जैसे चेंज डायरेक्टरी, हाउ टू क्रिएट
अच्छा, सी एच
डायरेक्टरी,
स्पेस,
ये सब।
अगर मैं लिखता हूँ सी डी स्पेस हाइफन, तो सी
CD
डी चेंज
स्पेस
डायरेक्टरी क्या होता है?
हाइफन।
सी डी स्पेस हाइफन, हाँ, तो हाइफन किस लिए यूज हो रहा है यहाँ पर?
सर हाइफन इसलिए यूज होता है कि हम डायरेक्टरी को चेंज कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि हम डायरेक्टरी एक अगर हम फॉरवर्ड मतलब डायरेक्टरी के आगे जा रहे हैं तो हम स्लैश का यूज करते हैं।
हाइफन क्यों यूज करते हैं, मैं पूछूँ? मल्टीपल डायरेक्टरीज हम अगर हमें क्रिएट करनी हो तो हम कैसे क्रिएट करेंगे? एक के अंदर एक डायरेक्टरी क्रिएट करनी है एक ही कमांड में। जैसे मैंने क्रिएट किया ABCD, उसके अंदर मुझे 1 से लेके 10 तक क्रिएट करनी है, उसके अंदर मुझे A से लेके Z तक क्रिएट करनी है, तो हम कैसे क्रिएट करेंगे? सिंगल कमांड रन करनी है मुझे।
सर ऐसे CD, सर टच कमांड से हो जाएगी वो।
अच्छा, आप AWS पे काम कर रहे हो, राइट?
यस सर।
तो AWS की के बारे में अगर मैं पूछूं तो आपने S3 पे काम जरूर किया होगा। Could you tell
S3,
me
यस
something
सर।
about could you tell me something about the versioning feature of S3? कुछ वर्जनिंग फीचर ऑफ S3?
वर्जन, सर बेसिकली आई एम जस्ट, मतलब हमारी जो कंपनी का वर्क है वो है कि हम ना किस यूजर को अपना, मतलब हम थर्ड पार्टी यूजर्स हैं। थर्ड पार्टी को हम थर्ड पार्टी एज अ वेंडर काम करते हैं यूजर्स के लिए। तो वो अपना जो मुझे जिसकी उनका जो यूजर होता है, कोई भी कस्टमर होता है हमारा, तो अगर वो हमें कुछ भी बताता है कि हमें ये चीज
Varsha,
करनी है।
sorry to
और
interrupt. You need to speak in English.
ओके सर।
So last question, Versa. Could you give me
Yes.
detailed information about VI editor?
VI
Editor.
VI editor.
Yeah.
The VI
Please,
editor
five to
is
six commands I want you should tell me about this VI editor. What command we can run into the VI editor itself? Five to six options or commands, whatever you use to say it. Like if I talk about how could I forcefully save a file? Okay, how to cut a line into VI editor? How to search for a word into VI editor?
no idea.
Okay, Varsha. Thank you. You can disconnect yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Harshita, can you hear us? Harshita, are you there? Please enable your webcam. You need to enable your webcam, Harshita.
Sorry, sir. That's not possible for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up to Rahul sir, please.
Sorry.
Rahul sir will have your session for the mock
Okay.
test.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, please wait. Sir,
Okay,
please
so
continue.
Harshita, the first
Um,
question is,
yes.
could you tell me something about the NFS server?
I'm not aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the editor, VI editor?
Yes. So VI editor is basically a editing file where using a VI you can create text
What's the full
files.
name of it?
I
Okay,
don't remember. Yeah.
how do I cut a line from a file in VI editor? If I have to cut a line, how could I cut a line from in VI editor?
Got a line.
How to save a file?
Save a file using escape colon and WQ.
Okay, next question is, could you tell me something about the init run levels? Run levels in
Yes.
Linux.
Okay, so run levels are basically the levels from run level 0 to 7. So run level 0 says you're restarting or you're shutting down the system. So as in it goes to run level 7, where you can,
What's the last run level?
it can be 6 or 7. I'm not sure about it.
6 or 7. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I say that we are booting a Linux operating system and
Okay.
there is my bootloader has been loaded. So what is
Okay.
the name of the bootloader and where it is located in our Linux operating system?
Bootloader is Grub bootloader. So located in, I can't remember right now.
Okay, could you tell me what's the working of /sbin directory?
No,
What is
I
yum?
haven't.
What is yum?
Yum is a command which is used to install any repositories or the dependencies required.
What's the full form of yum?
Uh,
So is it always available online to install from yum, or we can create our own offline resources also?
I think so. You can create your own offline resource as well.
Could you tell me something about the user IDs? If I talk about how many types of users are there and what UID they are having, because ultimately users will be identified on behalf of UID. So if I say I am logged in from a root user, so what will be the UID of the root user?
Uh, it can start from one, which, sorry, it is a zero. The root user can be zero.
Okay, if I say normal user UID, from where it starts from?
One,
Normal user UID.
it might start from one.
Okay. So could you tell me something about the virtualization?
Oh, is it virtual machine or exactly virtualization?
Virtualization using Xen, XEN.
I'm not aware of XCN, but I can just brief you about the virtualization.
Okay, what is GPT? GPT or MBR?
It's a partition being created. So it's basically a disk partition being created in the hard disk.
Okay, so now I'm just going through one last question. Could you
Okay.
explain about Samba server? I hope you have heard my
Um,
question.
yeah, I'm just thinking about it. No, I haven't gone through actually Samba Server. So.
Okay, could you tell me something about the NTP server then? NTP.
It's a network transmission protocol.
Okay, Harshita, that's all. You can disconnect yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Chaitra, please switch on your webcam. Chaitra, I hope you will be listening.
Yes, sir.
Please share your webcam also.
Okay, okay. Visible, sir.
Yeah. So the first question, Chaitra, is could you
Okay.
tell me something about the virtualization technology, like virtualization using Zen?
Yeah. Virtualization is a process of splitting a logical into physical and virtual, sir. Uh, zip is used to compressing the files, and we have to unzip means we have to use the unzip command.
Okay, could you tell me something about the ACL, access control list in files and directories?
A, in ACL there are two types, sir, MBR and GPT. Uh, MBR means master boot record and GPT means uh,
I'm talking about
GD.
ACL, access control list, not about the GPT or MBR. That is a partitioning section. Okay, if I talk about that, you have installed a rhel 8, and when you open a terminal, so as soon as you open a terminal, you will get over there like root at the rate something something. What that is known as actually? If it is written over there, root at the rate local host and a tilde sign, what that specifies?
Oh,
Or user at the rate local host tilde sign or dollar sign, what it specifies?
architecture, sir.
Architecture. Okay. Uh, how could you get help in Linux? If I have to take help of some command, how do I take that help?
More pipe command
What is
or else
grep
hyphen
command?
hyphen L. Grub.
Grep,
Grep or
grep,
grep. Grep.
grep.
Uh, grep command is used to search a particular string in a file.
Okay. So if I have to search an exact word in grep, what type of option should I use over there?
Pipe grep space pipe command and more. If we type that command means we can get the options are like what we need.
Okay, if I have to remove the this, if I have to count how many lines are there which is matching the string, what options should I use over there to count the number of lines in grep?
Number of lines. Uh, grep pipe NN.
Okay, you are again see pipe. What is this pipe is and how the pipe is used?
Pipe is used to uh, pipe is a storage of commands, sir.
Storage of command.
Uh, yes, sir.
So why we are using pipe? Like you're saying that grep something pipe more. So what this pipe more is going to do over there?
Uh, sir, it display the all commands, all like NN, YY, DD like that commands. Users it will display, sir.
Okay, so if I say that I'm sharing a file from Linux to Windows or Windows to Linux, which type of
Okay.
protocol or server should I use into it?
Windows to Windows. Uh,
Windows to Linux and Linux to Windows. What type of server or protocol we use into it?
DNS server, sir.
What's
DNS
what is
Samba. Samba.
DNS or Samba?
Samba, sir.
So it's a server. Which protocol used behind the Samba server?
Samba. Uh, 445.
That's a port number you're talking about. I'm just talking about the protocol. Okay, not an issue. Could you tell me something about the groups? If I have created a group, let's take an example. If I have created a group, so which file will be changed? Where it is going to be reflected that you have created a group?
Grub. Grub.
Okay, what is primary group and secondary group of a user
Primary.
and secondary group of the user? How to take backup of any file or directory?
Back.
How to take backup of any file or directory?
Dev.
Okay, last just question I want to ask you. Do you know anything about the security of Linux? How we can secure a Linux operating system? Firewall D, TCP wrapper, IP tables, or SE Linux, anything?
Sir, little bit I know, sir.
Which one you knows about?
Sir, firewall.
Okay, what is firewall?
Firewall is used for extra protection, so we can send the uh, network through the firewall. It communicate with each other, sir.
Okay, so what type of networks, what type of um, like connections we are having in firewall?
Like
Okay, what is sudo command?
sudo command super user do, sir.
So what it does?
Uh, uh, Instead of root user, normal user can use the sudo command, sir. Instead of root user.
So what they use, why are using it? That's what I'm asking. Okay, Chatra, not an issue. You can disconnect yourself.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That's it.
सर नेक्स्ट कैंडिडेट कौन है, मैं कॉल कर देता हूँ।
एक मिनट बता दो, वो टाइमिंग 10:10 के लिखी है ना उसमें।
हाँ,
सतीश सतीश गंगुला।
अच्छा अच्छा, टाइम नहीं हुआ है क्या?
अभी 3 मिनट बाकी है, 10:10 लिखा है ना उसके
अच्छा,
पास।
तो आप डिनर कर लिए सर?
हाँ हो गया।
अच्छा, तो ओवरऑल कैसा है?
तुम कह रहे थे एडवांस पूछना है, यहाँ तो बेसिक भी इनको नहीं पता, एक एक बेसिक क्वेश्चन तक नहीं पता है। मतलब क्या का मतलब बेसिक जो बिल्कुल होता है वो तक नहीं पता उनको। बेसिक ओवर भी एनएफएस होता है क्या ये नहीं पता। तो कहता है एडवांस में पूछना, एडवांस में कहते जब बेसिक ही नहीं होता हमारा, तो एडवांस में जाने का मतलब क्या।
हम्म। और सर जो करिकुलम आपको दिए हैं वो कितने टाइम ड्यूरेशन का है?
वो करिकुलम अच्छा खासा है, उसमें तो बहुत अच्छी अच्छी चीजें दी हुई हैं। मतलब इसी टाइप का ही पढ़ा रहे हैं। ये टोटल ड्यूरेशन इस टाइप का 150 घंटे का जो पढ़ा रहे हैं ना, उससे भी ज्यादा ये
हम्म।
कंटेंट है। ये
अच्छा।
कंटेंट अच्छा खासा कंटेंट है। और इसमें लास्ट में जो, मैं लास्ट में तुम जा ही नहीं पाए जो जो चीजें
ओके।
हैं, क्योंकि पहले इसको स्टार्टिंग ही नहीं पता है, तो फिर लास्ट में क्या करने जाता है।
हम्म।
विनीत आप करो उसको, 6:11 हो गया है, 10 का टाइम था।
कॉल कर दिया है सर, कॉल कर दिया।
Hello.
Satish, please
Hello.
switch on your webcam.
Am I visible?
Yeah. Satish, your first question is that could you please tell me how the Linux boots?
Uh,
What's
by,
yeah.
by using Grub, sir.
Please give me the complete scenario of how it boots?
Um, uh, Sir, can you didn't get it, sir? Can you please repeat it again?
Could you give me the complete scenario of how Linux boots, starting from
Uh,
basic till getting the graphical screen?
um, After turning on the virtual machine and operating system, the Linux booting will be start, sir, by using Grub. And uh, if we face any issue during Grub, we will check whether there will be any another Grub loader is there, or by mistake the Grub config file is removed. Or
How we can configure Quota on a file system?
how we can?
Configure Quota on a file system.
No, so, to go to that, I don't know.
Okay. Could you tell me something about the sudo or sudoers?
Sir, it's admin privilege, like access to uh, to do certain like installing some packages, like the permissions, sudo permissions will be there. Like he's the one who's having the permission to install and do certain things in the operating system.
Okay, what is RPM
That they had package management. So
and how we use it? How to install a package using RPM?
RPM hyphen IVH and package names.
Okay. And what is yum?
Uh, it is similar to that sudo, and which is used to install packages.
Sudo is used to install the packages, and yum is also used to
No,
install the
sir.
packages.
No, sir. It has the yum is used to install packages, and sudo is having the privilege to access.
Okay. Could you tell me something about the NFS server?
Sir?
NFS. NFS server.
Uh, no, sir. I have to go to that.
Okay, what is ACL? When we talk about, we have, let's take an example. I'm having a user uh, named as A1. We have multiple user system, but one to A1, I have to give a specific permission that that user can read and write both. So what type of command we have to use into it?
Like you were saying that to assign strict permissions for a particular user.
Yes.
Like chmod, and like in the permissions what we are using, like read, write, execute. Uh, we are going to give that. Suppose if we want to read the particular file, uh, we are using like user in the user context. We will give the read 4 for that, and 00 and the file name
Okay, if I talk about init run level 1, why the run level 1 is used?
to halt the single user mode.
What we do with single user mode?
Uh, like like not allowing others to enter into that systems.
Okay, what's the main configuration file of a grub from which we can secure our password also of grub? What's the main configuration file of grub?
Uh, etc grub.config, sir.
Where it is located?
Like uh, we can check that. I think it will be in the boot, sir, as /boot.
Okay. If I talk about LVM, what is LVM?
It's a logical volume manager accumulating multiple disks or a partitions into a single disk. I used to use the space.
Okay. Then if I talk about the concept of KVM, what is KVM?
KVM, sir.
Yeah, KVM.
I haven't heard about this. Let me think.
What is SE Linux? SELINUX, SE Linux.
SE Linux.
Hmm.
I forgot about it.
Okay, then you can disconnect yourself. That's all.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Can I leave, sir?
Yes, you can leave. You can leave.
Can I know the feedback, sir? If you don't mind.
We will let you know.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Nitish, please switch on your webcam.
Yes, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, but switch on your webcam.
Okay, sir.
So Nitish, your first question is, then when we have to talk on SE Linux, what is SE Linux?
Sir, Is is a secure Linux, sir.
Okay, for what it is used for?
It is used for some authentication purpose on Linux. It means if you host some website in some other folder, it means, for example, we have default website folder like where www.html.file. So if you want to take another, you don't want that default folder, you just want to host another folder, then you must change the SE Linux use SE Linux format, sir. Then only you can access that. That's a
Okay,
small example.
how we can schedule any task in Linux?
Using Chrome tab, sir.
Okay, what would be syntax? Syntax um, if I have to schedule a task at evening 6:30 p.m. At 6:30 p.m. I have to schedule the task per day. Then what will be the syntax which you have to write in cron tab?
Sir, every day.
Yeah, every day at 6:30 p.m.
In Chrome tab. Okay. Uh, uh, Sir, in just Chrome. first create a cron tab file, sir, or editing the exist files, first of all.
Okay. Then
So that uh, the you just create a cron tab. Cron tab means cron tab and space e, and which name you want to create, username. You just mention the
how
username.
to write
Uh,
that? Let me know the scenario. How we are what we are going to write. That's all. Cron tab hyphen e we have done. Enter.
okay,
Now
okay.
what we have to write?
Sir, could you tell the one more the time, please?
6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m. Okay. Uh, the first mention the 6. 6:30 p.m. means it's a railway time. You just 80 dot 30 in first star mention, and next star star star, and uh, daily means 1.
Okay.
80.30 star star and 1 and star. That then what you want backup, you just mention there the backups.
Okay. Thank you. Next question is that if I have to check all the user login into our system, or so which
Okay.
log file we are going to open to check all user login specifications, in which log file we used to get.
Sir, etc password, va etc password, you
I'm talking
get
about
all
the
of
log
these.
file, log file, in which you will get the user login details.
Uh, so you mean what are how many users are logging in current server, sir?
No, no. I am saying that if any user has logged in from a remote location, I need to know that which user has been logged in. Might be that user logged in 10 days back. I need to know where is a log file, log file saved of the user over there.
Log file, okay. Uh, sir, we just type last command, last and username, last space what which user you want. You just
Okay,
mention
okay.
their name.
Next is that if I have to, what is KVM? Could you tell me what is KVM?
Uh,
KVM or Zen server or virtualization server in Linux? You can tell me anything about it.
uh, in KVM. Uh, sir, it's a. I think KVM is kernel, sir. Kernel is the KVM in Linux, sir. Kernel based virtual.
No, let's move on to
So,
the next question now.
okay.
I need to know what is LVM,
It's a logical volume manager, sir.
what it does, how it works actually.
Sir, it is used for storage, sir.
Yeah, so
Storage purpose.
what's the difference between LVM and a normal partition which we are creating? So there must be
Uh,
some difference. That's why we are creating
yes,
LVM.
yes, sir. LVM is we can easily extend our storage, and we can resize our storage whatever you want to do. Uh, to in about the size varies in LVM. We can easily expand our LVM size.
Could you define what is RAID level 5? RAID level
Ride
5.
me, ride, sir. Ride or ride?
RAID RAID level 5.
Uh, uh, I only know the ride one, sir. I think the
Okay, what is
ride
RAID
one, sir.
1?
Right one is you use the two storage device. Which one is small? Which one is small storage? That only that the right one takes, sir.
So
Comparing
what's the name? What we'll give it a name to RAID 1?
MD0 mirror
And this is,
mirror
yeah, yeah, what you are saying?
MD0, sir. Mirror MD0.
Okay. Okay, the next question is if I say that sudo, what is sudo and from where we can configure any user to use sudo into the system?
Sudo is super user, sir. Some
From
uh,
which file we can configure any normal user to access the commands with the help of sudo?
we just sudo res, sir. Sudo res command we give.
Okay, just sudo and command.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you tell me what is grep command? GREP.
Grub command is usually used to searching purpose. Or for example, you want to some file. You just search a bunch of files in file. You use grub search. Easily you get the file.
Then why find command is used?
Uh, they find both are the same, sir. But grub command is it's upgraded one.
From which command we can take the backup of files and directories?
Sir, in backup in Linux, sir.
Yes.
I we j- all we copy the files, sir, for backupping. CP that that we use
Okay.
copying.
Which file is when we create a user, which file contains the user information as well as its password information
Sir, etc password that have all information of about user, sir.
and password?
VI space slash etc slash password. You get the users and group info, all the information you get in that file, sir. Or if you want
Okay.
particular user, you just VA and etc and password, then username.
Okay, Nitish, that's all. You can just disconnect yourself.
Okay.
Nitish, you can disconnect yourself.
Okay,
It's
sir.
done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Upendra, please switch on your webcam also.
Sorry, at present I'm logging with my mobile. Sorry.
I'm not
Because
getting
of
a
my
clear voice.
sir, at present my location weather was very bad, sir. That's why I'm logging with my mobile, sir. Internet connection is not good.
So in mobile also we are having webcam.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting your voice clear also.
Now I'm audible, sir.
No, I'm not getting. Vineet sir, voice is not clear. What could we do? Because some weather problem, I think is. Yeah, Upendra, please speak something.
Sir, my name is Upender, sir. I completed my graduation
Now
in
I can
2018.
listen you. So, Upendra, your first question is that what is init run levels?
Init run level 0, sir. It is the first run level, sir.
Why run level 5 is used?
So based on situation, when PC will start in shutdown to start, that is the run level 0, sir. And how PC will, which status, then based on that PC status, we differentiate the run level, sir.
Okay, could you tell me something about the Zen server or KVM server?
KVM, KVM is kernel virtual machine, sir. It is it is used
Why it is
it is used for the what
Your voice is
Sorry,
interrupting too much.
exact answer I don't know.
Okay, could you tell me something about the PAM, Pluggable Authentication Module? What is PAM and why we are using this Pluggable Authentication Module?
Sam was firewall sir, to restrict our some server. We use the PAM server, PAM firewall.
PAM is a server.
Sorry, firewall to restrict to secure our application or our server.
Then why IP tables are used?
IP to allow or disable to allow or deny the port numbers.
Okay,
Access
could you tell me the
access
port number of NFS?
network.
On which port number it is working on?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, could you tell me something about the RAID?
Sir, RAID is redundant area of defense. RAID was used for RAID was used to maintain.
RAID 1 is?
RAID one is stripping, sir. So RAID one is mirroring, sir.
Okay, RAID 5?
RAID five stripping with mirroring.
Then RAID 0?
Sorry, sir. RAID zero is
Okay,
mirroring, sir.
let's take an example. I have created a LVM volume, that is logical volume manager volume. I need to increase the space of that. So how could I increase the space? What command I can use to increase the space of LVM?
So first of all, we have to unmount the file system, sir.
Okay.
And we have, and then we use the LV restrict one command, sir. By using that command, we can increase our LVM partition, sir.
What's the command?
LV LV
You are telling me about reducing the area. You are not telling me about how to increase. I was talking about increasing.
oh,
Okay,
sorry.
if you tap what if I say that you have created a normal partition that
Okay.
is slash dev slash sda7 and now you need to format. So what command you are going to use for the formatting of partition? Secondly, which file system you are going to use to format the partition? In rhel 8, which file system we preferring to format the file system partition?
So exe4, sir. exe4, sir. Sorry.
Okay, and what command we use to format the partition?
MKFS, sir.
MKFS only. If I write it start working.
MKFS space the disk path, sir. dev slash sd sds7.
So which command you use to see how many partition has been created?
fdisk space hyphen l, sir.
Which command you use to check how much disk usage has been done in our directory? How much disk usage is doing by our directory? So which command you are going to use for disk usage?
du hyphen h, sir, for human readable, sir.
Okay. And when we have to check disk free,
df, sir.
okay, let's say that I have to mount my file system. I have created a partition. Now I have to permanently mount the file system. So which file I am going to edit to permanently mount the file system?
For no. Sorry, sir.
Could you tell me something about the NFS server?
NFS server is a network file sharing service, server, sir. We can the service is used for the sharing the files in a network, sir.
Which port number does it works on?
port number, exact port number, I didn't have completely
Okay,
confused.
could you tell me something about the access control list in Linux? The access control list which we set on user or group to give some special permission. Could you tell me something about that?
So, access control is in the in the in the specific file end of the file permission. There is one dot symbol, sir. For for the dot we have to identify the ACL file. ACL for the special permission.
What command we should use for doing this special permission? ACL permission?
Get get fs get fsl.
Okay, you can disconnect yourself. That's what I have to ask from you. Okay, Pen, thank you. You can disconnect yourself. Pratap, please switch on your webcam also.
Okay, sir.
Hey, Pratap, what is port forwarding?
Sir,
Port forwarding. I
port
hope you are getting my
forward.
voice.
Yes, sir. Port forwarding is nothing but if particular port is not available, then we can simply forward the another port. For example, if we use port number Google port number, that is 8080. If it is not available, then we can simply forward to the another port 443. That is for traffic diversion. That
Okay,
is
what is
called
SC
port
Linux?
forward. Sir,
What is SC Linux?
SC Linux is also referred as for security purpose secure Linux. Sir.
Okay,
By
any
using
more information you
S
are having
by,
about it?
by using SC Linux, we can securely use our Linux OS. We can protect our user data. It's it's all about security purpose. We are using SC Linux policies, sir.
Okay. Could you give the detailed information about partitioning? Like if I have to create a partition, how I'm going to create a partition into my system?
Yes, sir. If we have a hard disk in the um, starting stage of installation, we can create like HDA, HDB, HDC, like hard disk we can create. In that hard disk, we can partition by using the command fdisk space /dev /SDA. By using this command, we can partition the disk.
Okay,
After
now
that,
let's,
sorry.
yeah,
Uh,
how to format the disk also, let me know.
yes, sir, definitely. By using the command mkfs.txt4 space /dev /SDA. By using this command, we can format the disk, sir. Any
Okay.
disk we can format by using these commands only, sir.
Okay, could you tell me about the booting process? How the Linux operating system boots?
By using